Hey, everybody. Super excited to dive into the future of Wi-Fi and networking with a true innovator in the field, Extreme Networks. Monica, how are you?
I'm doing great, Evan. Thank you for inviting me to be here.
Well, thanks for being here. Always intrigued by the work you're doing at Extreme Networks. Before that, maybe introduce yourself, Extreme, for those who aren't familiar with the amazing work you're doing and what you've been up
Absolutely.
to.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I joined Extreme Networks almost about a year ago as the Chief Marketing Officer. Um, our company has been around for a couple decades plus, and we are the providers of networking and security solutions in the enterprise. Wired, wireless, SD-WAN, cloud management, you name it, we provide all those solutions. We have 50,000 plus customers in a number of different industries that are benefiting from Extreme Network solutions.
Yeah,
Uh,
and the value proposition is so amazing. What have you been focused on the past year? What have you been up to, you and the team?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, networking has never been more strategic than it is right now. In fact, if you think about connectivity, what is powering connectivity in terms of technology is also networking. Um, you can call it the central nervous system of a company, right? New applications, new devices, data is being generated, new people join the organization, and the robustness and the network has become even more important. And what's become more important even is the data that's being created using the network, the data from the applications, the people, and the devices. So what I've been focused on is really how do we take all of that and harness that to really amplify the brand of Extreme Networks in the work that we're doing with customers. So most of my work is focused on the value that we're providing to customers and how networking is central to the value that they are generating for the end user. So that's one piece. The second piece is really looking at the solutioning piece of it. How do we bring more complete solutions to market as opposed to point products? Um, and so, yeah, those are the two big things. I mean, the big focus is really to minimize and reduce the complexity in our customers' environments. That's been the big focus for the company, and we are continuing to do that.
Amazing. And it's not just networking, as you know, that's evolving. It's the whole convergence of networking with AI and security, which you're deeply involved with. So how have you been staying ahead of those key trends?
Absolutely, that is what's happening in the industry. And in fact, if you look back a bit, for years, Extreme Networks has been delivering products and solutions that help our customers design and deploy and manage networks and simplifying it for them for years. And it's been very much focused on networking, and we've done a lot of work there. Lately, we ran a survey with 200 plus IT leaders. And one of the things that was very clear in the survey, Evan, and you pick any survey in the industry, we also did our own. And what was clear to us is that IT leaders are dealing with so much complexity in their environments and so many siloed applications, management tools, and lots of new innovations coming at them. I mean, it wasn't enough that IT leaders had to deal with digital transformation. They still are. Cybersecurity threat postures, right? Data analytics, cloud migrations, and now add AI strategies to the mix. And so the list is so long for them. So the complexity stands out as the number one burden that IT leaders face today, and therefore the rising cost associated with it. At the same time, they need to drive innovation. So that's one of the things we realized is as a company is that we need to embed a lot more of the siloed tech that they have to use. Like AI is a great example. AI in a silo is going to fail. I think there are many studies that show organizations embarked on an AI project in a silo, it's very difficult to prove the ROI. In fact, in our survey itself, 84% of our respondents said they're doing some kind of an AI project. However, almost half of those failed or had no ROI because they didn't have a use case they began with. They didn't train the people the right way. So I guess the net is that, we are really the focus is to combine networking, security, and AI into the same solution so that our customers can get a simplified way to execute and really focus on getting the work done as opposed to trying to DIY the technology itself.
Yeah, great insight there. And speaking of insights, you recently shared your first CIO Insights report. You mentioned that. Any surprises that stood out to you and the team?
I would say, I mean, I would not say surprise. It's more a validation of what
Mm.
we had found in our conversations. But I would say the biggest surprise, though, is that 83% of the respondents said that they expect their budgets will increase in the next 6 months.
Oh, wow,
And
that's a surprise.
that is a surprise. And again, I think it's primarily, I mean, we believe, there might be some reasons. I think it's also the new AI, adoption of new AI strategies and tools and LLMs and what they need to be doing. So I think that's for sure there. But the fact that they think that the budget will increase is interesting. However, they have need to prove the ROI, right? Just having more budget doesn't mean IT is not on the constraint to prove the ROI of the spend as well.
That's a great point. And AI has created so many new opportunities, also challenges in networking. And I've been following Extreme Networks in the news for, gosh, over a decade. And
Yeah.
you guys have been talking about automation and machine learning well before it became all the rage the last number of years. So what are the new challenges that these teams are facing specifically, and how do you help?
Yeah. Well, again, if you think about the pace of new technology that's coming at IT, it's incredibly fast. And in fact, there's another data point, that we looked at, which is a report was published. It's called "The Impact of AI on the Network" study by ZK Research and the Cube Research, and they said that 80% of IT decision makers say the network is more complex than 2 years ago, and the reason
Mm.
is, lots of new technology, more devices attached to the network, more people, more applications. So this is the problem that's only going to grow. And one of the, I should have mentioned the survey results that came out, or the insight that came out of the survey was that because of this rising complexity, 88% of respondents said that they would prefer a single integrated platform for networking, security, and AI. You know, um, and that's what we've been working on.
Fantastic. And there seems to be, a growing need for not just more point solutions or endpoints, but more platforms that are unified and can bring a single view into the network. What does that mean for you, the industry, this move towards, I guess, you call it platformization and helping solve some of these challenges?
Yeah, that's a great question. And look, I mean, lots of other industries have moved towards platformization in the last, decade or more, right? Last couple decades. I think the networking industry has been lagging a bit on that. And it's time that we also provided a more complete solution and kept pace with the technology innovation that's happening outside of networking and bring some of that into the networking space. So from our perspective, we see as three key characteristics of a platform. One is really looking at all these diverse applications and management silos that our users have to deal with, and bring that all into an exceptional and integrated unified experience. I would say unified experience that is seamless not only for the users of networking operations, the NetOps team, but also for network security teams, for the procurement teams, for the finance teams. So I'd say, that's number one characteristics, is creating that exceptional experience. So across all the different diverse applications and environments that the network touches. I think the second piece, which is even bigger, is this underlying foundation, building that out, which is the seamless integration across all the different workflows, the common services, data layers, integrating it at the data layer. So, for example, the network data being integrated with the NIC, your
Mm.
Intel NICs, or the ServiceNow workflows being integrated. So at the data layer, not just the application layer. So that's the other characteristics we believe is of a platform in our world, is that seamless integration of the workflows, the common services. So all your applications are using the same pool of common services for identity management, for single sign-on, etc. And then the third piece really is about the value of each new service, and every time you add a new service, it increases the collective value of the other pieces. So that's around more around licensing, packaging, making sure that we simplify that, the contracting and all of that experience for the buyers as well. So we would say that's, and obviously the core feature function is still there, right? The wired, wireless, SD-WAN. We are adding the network access control, ZTNA, analytics. All of those pieces become part of this platform solution, but it's tied together with this exceptionally unified experience, which is seamless, the integration of workflow, common services, data layers, and then a well-rounded, simplified licensing and contracting for the customers so that they can get value from the platform.
Fantastic. Well, as a wireless geek, it's really the most exciting time for Wi-Fi with, Wi-Fi 7, just amazing new capabilities. People are already talking about Wi-Fi 8 in terms of the standard. I mean, and you're addressing all these demands. You must have a lot of R&D under the hood happening to meet this wave of new wireless technology emerging.
Well, I mean, absolutely. And I think that's the part, I want to highlight that we've been investing in innovation for many years. And
Mm.
the strategy of platformization is a culmination of our leadership around Wi-Fi, cloud management. If you look at it, we were the first ones to come up with cloud management solution in this space. And, we've had many acquisitions over the years that we've, obviously integrated into the company, but we are also organically now building a lot of new innovations around platformization.
Yeah, fantastic. On a separate note, you've been a strong advocate for women in tech and building engaged and supportive cultures over your long career. How's that going at Extreme? You seem to have a very enthusiastic and engaged workforce despite many of the challenges out there in tech. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, it's going fabulous. I mean, that's not a nice to have. Like, we need to have a
Mm.
diverse and inclusive environment, period, in every organization. I mean, that's a reflection of the society we live in. Our societies, our communities, the world is diverse. It's made up of lots of different ethnicities and points of views and different genders. So, the workplace should be a reflection of that, right? Otherwise, I think if we leave some points of views behind, I think the progress is not as fast as we could have. So we are very clear on that Extreme is a place where we honor and we foster diversity and inclusion. So I'm really proud to be part of Extreme and proud to be part of the initiatives we have, very specific, to make sure that we are creating that environment for our employees. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Congratulations. So you're known as a favorite vendor to many of the sports teams around the country, around the world, especially here in Boston at Fenway and Gillette and other places. Talk about how the sports tech business, which has become huge, is ramping up, and other industries where you're super active, healthcare IT, one near and dear to my heart, and others. Where are you seeing the most demand these days?
Yeah, I mean, look, the sports tech is something that I think speaks to almost every human being. I mean, pick your favorite sports and sports team. I think everybody can make a connection with that. So it's really easy to explain our value proposition. In fact, um, I was at the Oracle Park, our San Francisco Giants stadium, a few months ago, and we got a tour from our CIO, the CIO there. And he was saying that he chose us because we are the leader in networking for sports venues and sports tech, and it made me feel so validated and happy to hear that. It's not He actually showed us how the networking technology they're powered by Extreme is helping them create better customer and fan experience. And so all the way from ticketing to as the fans enter through the doors to
Mm.
the food stands to actually sitting in the stands, and how the Wi-Fi devices are even put under the seats, every few seats apart. So they have the best connectivity so they can share the enthusiasm with their family and friends who are probably not at the game or the social media, for example. So I think that's obviously we have a huge I would say, presence and penetration in that space. Definitely US wide, but also in Europe. If you look at Liverpool and Man
Mm.
U, and we and again we're expanding that. So now you take that and you take that into healthcare, for example, and I think that's probably the lesser known part of our stories, which is what we are trying to work on. Is we need to also highlight stories of other industries. Healthcare is also pretty big for us, and that's an area we're expanding in rapidly. Um, Operating theaters. I mean, think about networking. Think about the mission criticality of networking. Healthcare is it. If you're in an operating theater, you cannot afford for your network to go down, especially given how much technology now doctors and surgeons use in the operating theater. That is a mission critical technology decision for them. And today we are in many, many healthcare organizations and hospitals and operating rooms in clinics where we are powering the entire network for the hospital. I mean, NHS is a great example in the UK where a big part of NHS is our customer. And we are really excited to partner with them to provide excellent patient care and help the doctors spend more time with patients than worry about things not working for them on the technology side. And then, of course, you look ahead, there's other industries, state, local education, higher education, manufacturing, retail, you name it. And we have a significant presence in those industries as well across the globe.
Incredible. Wow, amazing work. Well, just to wrap up, what are you looking forward to the next couple weeks? Hopefully a bit of rest and relaxation before the heavy event season begins again next spring. But what's on your mind over the next few weeks and months?
Well, we have something big on our mind before we can really take a break for the holidays. We are announcing our platform solution, and we're talking about platformization. So we are announcing Extreme Platform One, which
Mm.
combines the networking, security, and AI capabilities into this one powerful experience. And ultimately, the goal is to simplify the way organizations deploy, manage, and secure the network. So that's what we are looking forward to. That's what we're working on. And I mean, there's a lot of excitement in the team, of course, about that. But truly, we can't wait for our customers to get their hands on the tech. I mean, this is going to be, so we're announcing the vision for that on December 9th.
Mm.
And we'll talk about what it is, the different use cases that it brings to life. And I can give you a few examples. But ultimately, over the next many months, we will be working on rolling out the various milestones, with general availability being in the second half of 2020, calendar 2025. And again, this is really about bringing, as I said, security, AI together with networking, and making things very, very, very simple for our users and the buyers, and making many, many use cases come to life where tasks that were done in hours could now be done in minutes, for example. As an example, maybe I'll give you a couple examples here.
Yeah, please. It sounds
For,
exciting.
yeah, for instance, the NetOps team, you know, can now visualize layers of the entire network in one place, which
Wow.
previously meant logging into multiple applications. So imagine logging into 3 to 5 to maybe 7 even applications. But now they can come in through a single workspace. It's a slick UI that we've built. Come in through a single workplace. It's a single sign-on. They can log into all the applications through that. Now, this unified interface is combined with network wide AI. So they can basically find issues and fix issues immediately, which means they reduce the mean time to resolution, MTTR, improving the network users experience and obviously increasing the efficiency. Also, for example, tasks such as audits, device and configuration inventory, topology, and performance analysis, designing, um, all of that becomes a lot easier. And it's almost like an easy button to do all these tasks at your fingertips, which would take hours before they had the platform. And one of the reasons why they can do that is also the built-in AI. We have the AI core and then AI expert. AI expert is more than a chatbot, but that's their go-to. That can become their teammate. They can ask questions. They can ask it to go find things on its own. Ultimately, we will have autonomous agents that can go and do work for you if that's what you choose to do. If you trust the agent, it's going to be your choice. But we're making everything is integrated in the platform, so that the AI is the big sort of the engine that's driving this new platform. Another example I want to give you is SecOps team, right? So it's not just NetOps, but also network security teams. They can now gain a single view into the entire service chain from endpoint to endpoint. So, for example, you can now contextualize issues and understand the impact across different locations. Remove the guesswork, no need for that anymore. And also, it reduces, obviously, the threat for potential cyber attacks and network outages. Yeah, and then this can also help streamline like compliance management, risk assessment, policy implementation, and root cause analysis. So these are just some examples. I'm going a bit deep now, but you can imagine we're very focused on the tasks that need to be done in an organization to design and manage, to deploy, design, and manage the network and secure it. And all those tasks are now going to become a lot faster to do. And that's sort of the design principle of the platform.
Wow, that's a blockbuster announcement. I can't wait to see how it impacts the teams on the ground and the amazing work they're doing. So stressed, so overloaded. So this should be a real game changer for those folks in the field. And we broke a little bit of news here, so I'm excited about that as well. Thanks, Monica. Can't wait to learn more and do a deeper dive in the future. And thanks for joining. Thanks, everyone, for listening, watching, and sharing.
Thank you so
Take
much,
care.
Evan.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Monica. Take care. Bye-bye.